Hey guys, my name is Shirley and welcome to Learning with Purpose, where it's all about helping you achieve your educational goals. Alright, so now today's video is going to be my top 5 tips to help you get an Atar above 90. Now these tips just don't apply only to people who are aiming for that 90 plus Atar, but anyone who's aiming to excel in their education, whether that you may be in year 7, whether you may be in senior year or whatever stage of your education that you're in. Alright, so the first tip that I have, so I'm going to be looking here because this is where my points are. The first tip that I have is, number 1, do more than what is asked of you. Your Atar is a rank, meaning that whether you like it or not, you're in competition with thousands and thousands of other students in the same state as you. So you gotta be positioning yourself to do more than what is just required. Like, let me explain. So let's say your teacher sets a homework to do chapter 5 of your maths textbook, questions 1, 2, and 3. So let's say in a hypothetical world, everyone actually does their homework. So this is everyone and this is you. So both of you have both done your homework, so you're equal level. But now let's say you go on further to do another piece of extra work that wasn't required. That immediately puts you up there. Let's say you go even further and then you go, I don't know, and pop out a past paper. That puts you up there. And then now you have this massive gap here between your peers and yourself. So don't wait for people to tell you what to do. Don't wait for your teacher to tell you to do a certain chapter. Don't wait for, I don't know, your tutor or whoever, your study buddy, to ask you to do a certain thing. But go ahead and do extra things yourself, because just by doing that little extra, you're immediately putting yourself in front of the competition. You're immediately placing yourself way ahead of your peers. Tip number 2 is to make sacrifices. Alright, so when I'm saying make sacrifices, I'm not saying live a miserable life, but you have to understand that when you're in your HSC, you can't have it all. Like, when I say you can't have it all, I mean you can't be dating, can't be working, you can't be partying every weekend, you can't not be studying, can't be sleeping in every single weekend and expect to get that 90 plus Atar. You can get a lot. I completely believe that yes, you can work and yes, you can date or whatever and still get great marks in your HSC, but you have to be willing to make sacrifices. So you have to be willing to say no to that party that you've been invited to. You gotta prioritize your work. Like for me, for example, during my HSC, there's a point in time when one of my family friends was having a wedding, and it was I think it was the weekend before trials, and I had to say, I'm sorry, but I can't make it to your wedding. And that's a sacrifice that I had to make. But when I'm saying this, be very careful. You also have to live a very balanced lifestyle. You can't just be sacrificing all these and end up losing yourself in the process. So what I'm trying to get a point here is know your goal and be willing to make sacrifices. You can't get that 90 plus Atar and expect to be waking up at 1 p.m. every single Saturday. Like, sacrifice those few little hours and say, okay, today I'm gonna wake up at 7 a.m. and smash out a bit of study. I'm gonna sacrifice this little bit of sleep. Make sure you're getting in your 7-8 hours of sleep, but I'm gonna sacrifice this 1 hour of sleeping in, wake up early so that I can do a bit of study. And those little sacrifices at the end of the day will always add up. Alright, number 3, I cannot emphasize this enough. This is something so deep to my heart because this was my biggest downfall. The thing is, do not let bad marks get to you. Everyone, nearly every single person throughout their HSC journey, you're gonna get a mark that you're not pleased with. But how you handle that mark will determine how well you do at the end of the day. Like, I'll give an example of English. For me, English was probably my lowest subject. I think I ended up with an overall mark of 84. So, and that was advanced English. So I think my first assessment task, it was a speech, and I think I got something like, I don't know, I think I was ranked 4th in the cohort. So you start to grow a little bit of a big head, you get confident and all that. Come second or third assessment task, I was ranked last or second last in my cohort. That absolutely devastated me. And then not only that, but my trials, I think either I failed by 1 mark or I passed by 1 mark. So I either got a 49 or 51. And for me, that just traumatized me. I'm like, nah, this is it. I'm done with English. I'm not going to give any more effort. But you can't have that kind of mentality. You have to take the bad marks as they are, see where you went wrong, improve on those parts, and move on. 1 bad mark isn't going to ruin you. 2 bad marks isn't going to ruin you. Take me for an example. Look, I failed my trials pretty much. I got last rank in one of my assessment tasks, and I still managed to pull out a band 5. So there's always hope. Okay. Tip number 4 is consistency. It's linked to tip number 3, which I just talked about. Consistency is key. You can't have periods where you say, "Ooh, I'm not going to study for a month. Ooh, I'm not going to pay attention in class for a month." And then a week before exams comes, you end up studying like crazy. Not only is that absolutely horrible for your health and your mental state, it just adds up more stress to your workload, and it just makes things just too heavy to handle. So remember, the HSC is a marathon, not a sprint. You gotta make sure you're being consistent. Be consistent with your notes. Don't just start making your notes a week before your exams. Make them on a weekly basis, because when you're consistent, you're able to reduce the workload that you have come exam times. You're able to reduce the amount of stress you have, and things are just able to stick in your mind a bit more. You're not cramming things in the last minute, so your mind is actually able to understand and process the things that you're learning, rather than just cramming in for a certain exam. And last but not least, tip number 5 is utilize every resource that you have, and hustle for as much material as you can possibly get. Like, I'm pretty sure you've heard this a million times, but the Board of Studies website is the greatest resource that you can have. All the past papers. Make sure by the time you enter your HSC exam, by the time you enter your trials, you've done every single past paper that there is on the Board of Studies. There's also Board of Studies community. Like, there's some things that are a bit dodgy there, but still, that's a great resource. Ask your friends, ask teachers from other classrooms, go look online. With the internet, guys, there's so much abundant resources out there, but it's just a matter of you to do it. Find a practice essay to do it, mark it. If you can't mark it yourself, get a friend to mark it. If your friend can't mark it, if you don't trust them, give it on to your teacher. I'm pretty sure that they'd be more than they would be more than happy to do it. But the main thing I'm emphasizing is is get access to as many resources as possible. That way you're exposed to so many different styles of writing, so many different styles of questions that can come up, that you'll feel so ready for your exam, and whatever question that they bring up, you'd have been like, hey, I've already done this. Yeah. I hope this has really helped you out. So remember those 5 things, apply them. Don't just watch this video and go back to your old habits. Don't just watch this video and sleep in until 3 p.m. on Saturday. Say, I'm setting my alarm to 7 a.m. and I'm waking up and I'm doing an extra bit of study. So, with all that being said and done, dream big, hustle hard, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.